and welcome to Friday Double Bill, where we analyze and evaluate the latest releases from Bollywood and Hollywood to help you make a more informed choice at the movies. This is Mayank Shekhar, I'm Fahad Samar. Over to you, Mayank.
Well, it's a tough weekend in the theatres, at least as far as reviewers are concerned. I don't know about the viewers. There are at least 5 Hindi films that opened in the theatres, and we had a tough time figuring out which movie to watch, practically because you don't want to call attention to a movie and then say it's terrible, and what purpose did we serve? Well, we thought a lot about it, and therefore the first movie coming up for review and the only Hindi movie coming up for review for this weekend is Desi Kattey, followed by our review of last week's release, Dawat-e-Ishq, that was directed by Habib Faisal, produced by Yash Raj, and the Hollywood release this weekend is a rom-com called Two Night Stand. Is it worth a one-time watch? You'll soon find out. Desi Kattey, directed by Anand Kumar, is an underworld film set in Kanpur. It tracks the lives of 2 little kids, Gyani and Pali, who grow up in the lawless Uttar Pradesh town. The words Desi Kattey literally mean country-made pistols. The 2 boys in the picture deal in making Desi Kattey. Gradually, they rise up the ranks of local criminals, becoming the right-hand men of the top local don cum politician Judge Sahib, that's played by Ashutosh Rana. The 2 best friends also part ways at some point. One of them decides to take up shooting as a professional sport. He starts to train under a champion coach, that is Sunil Shetty. The other boy becomes an even more dreaded criminal and a bigger gun for hire. The lead characters in Desi Kattey are played by Akhil Kapoor and Jay Bhanushali.
So a few weeks ago, we reviewed a very charming little film which is set in Kanpur called Katyabaz, which was about a thief who steals electricity in a town where there is, much lawlessness. This again is set in Kanpur. Unfortunately, this has got to be the worst piece of trash we've seen in a long, long time. So much for our efforts, Mayank, of trying to see, bring our viewers a film that we thought would be the least reprehensible of the lot. This is really the lowest of the low. The acting is atrocious uniformly, so we have to give full marks to everybody for being consistently bad. The direction is a joke, as I'm sure you'll agree. The script doesn't exist. There are inconsistencies, there are vagaries. There is absolute chaos and anarchy in the badlands of Uttar Pradesh, my friend. Please tell me you are in full sync with me.
Not at all. There are certain movies that are supposed to be hard-hitting, Fahad, and there are certain movies that hit you so hard in the head that it's very hard to recover thereafter. And this is really one of those films, and I thought it would turn out to be one of those movies, except that it turned out to be much better in that genre per se. Here is this guy who looks a lot like Dhoni when he used to have long bonded hair, if you remember.
This is Vinod Khanna's
nephew. Absolutely, and that happens to be Vinod Khanna's nephew. I really hope he's funded this movie. The other one is Jay Bhanushali, who happens to be a television actor, so I'm told. I think they should really be picking up television actors from Pakistan at this rate. And there's, of course, the one I was seriously looking forward to, that's Sunil Shetty. Sunil Shetty is the original Balwan, from that movie in 1992. Everyone right now, from Shahid Kapoor to Salman Khan, plays the Balwan. And here is this man missing out in all those great things that he could do. But here he's actually got that part, the finest part I can think of, which is a major who's also training someone to become a world champion in shooting. And really, man, from that point till the end, I was just hoping that they could just get an editor. You're talking about the actors and the director. I think they just did not spend on just someone who could snip this movie to at least 1 minute.
And talking of major, this is a major pain in the you-know-where. Salma Aga's daughter, Sasha Aga, plays Sunil Shetty's younger sister. I think the duo have set new records in terms of really atrocious acting. And when they have emotional scenes, oh my God, the entire auditorium burst out laughing uncontrollably. This is just how incredibly bad this film is, and I just couldn't wait for those 3 hours. We want those 3 hours.
There were only 3 hours? Are you serious about it, Fahad?
Oh,
it seemed like the whole day that we spent in the theater. When we came out, we really thought it would be really dark, and as it turned out, it was perfectly fine. It's just those 3 hours that seemed like 30 hours.
For a film that's so terrible, and there are such atrocious moments all through the film, it's very difficult to pinpoint a few. But so let's not go there. what was amazing to me was I actually sat through the end credits and I saw there's a credit given to an acting workshop that was conducted by some theatre troupe who actually sat with these actors and probably rehearsed them, perhaps in the dialogue of or the dialect of the UP Kanpur Bhasha. I have no idea. But any theatre troupe that has worked with these actors and these are the results, I think they need to pack up immediately and probably migrate to Pakistan or, and learn a few tricks there.
Well, to be honest with you, at some point in a film like this, you stop looking at the film. You start looking at other things around this movie. And the only thing that I could possibly think of which seemed incongruous to the rest of the plot was one item number that they have. I'm sure they've had more. And I hear that there's one after the closing credits of the movie. But there's this movie. We couldn't survive that. Yes. And there is this girl called Claudia Siesla, if I'm getting her name right. She used to be a German model who I've seen on my Facebook timeline for very long, a blonde girl, a Caucasian woman, who is in this film, who's suddenly like tanned and is like, dark black hair, as it turns out, singing a song called Patne Wali, which I think is a very good pun. She could be from Patna or someone you can patao. And this is the Katrina Kaif effect that's happening in Bollywood, which I thought was phenomenal. The other one, I'm still fixated on the world's greatest actor that I can think of, and has been forever, that is Sunil Shetty, since he's making a comeback of sorts. And I think the way he trains Jay Bhanushali's character to become a world champion in shooting, and that line, that priceless line, कि दिल की धड़कनों के बीच के timing को समझो. That one line changes him completely, because then he can hear the timing between his rhythm or his heartbeat. I thought that was excellent. I think this deserves a raspberry. We don't have one, but I think we need a golden kela for this film for sure.
Since this week it seems highly unlikely that you're going to watch a new release of any consequence, I suggest you save that money, probably donate it to the SPCA, and do some good for the Desi Katteys.
Well, this is an underworld film to start with. The standard template for most Hindi underworld films still happens to be Ram Gopal Varma's Satya. This is also a sports film, as it turns out. Therefore, you're also watching in some level Chak De India or maybe Mericom. This is also Sholay. There is Jai and Viru who part ways. There's so many terrible movies for the price of one. I'm not too sure about your love for animals, but if you love yourself, be very, very careful.